Before we move any further into this hidden tradition, understand one thing. We are entering a place where knowledge did not survive through words. It survived through instinct. There are echoes buried beneath history that the world tried to silence, but silence only sharpened them. These fragments of the old craft do not reveal themselves to logic or belief. They reveal themselves to recognition. That strange, unsettling sensation that you have known something long before learning it. What we step into now is not myth, not legend, but the residue of an intelligence refined in shadows. An intelligence that spoke in symbols instead of sentences, and trusted the mind more than any doctrine ever dared. Here, nothing is obvious, nothing is explained, and nothing is given freely. This is a territory where meaning hides behind gestures, where intention shapes reality, and where every silence contains more truth than 1,000 written pages. So steady yourself, slow your breath, because from this point on, we are not exploring the craft. We are trespassing into its memory. Welcome to historic isles. To walk further into this concealed tradition is to abandon the illusion that knowledge only survives through writing. Some knowledge survives because it learns how to disappear. The old craft learned this better than any system humanity ever produced. It did not fight extinction. It evaded it. It did not beg for survival. It disguised itself so deeply within human behavior that even those who sought to destroy it preserved fragments of it without knowing. The deeper you go, the more this truth becomes impossible to ignore. The old craft was not a practice. It was an instinct. And instincts cannot be erased. They can only be forgotten. Centuries turned into dust. The practitioners realized something profound. The world around them kept mistaking their silence for surrender. But silence was their strategy, their shield, their camouflage. In silence, they embedded their rituals into seasonal customs. In silence, they hid symbols inside household patterns. In silence, they wove their philosophy into lullabies, myths, and rural sayings that no one questioned. A mother's warning, a symbol etched above a door, a superstition whispered at night. None of these were random. They were fragments of an ancient system operating beneath the surface of daily life. And this system did not care if the world understood it. It only cared that it continued. Silence, next to understand the next layer of the craft. Picture a world where knowledge did not rely on explanation, but on transmission. A practitioner did not say, "This symbol will protect you." They drew the symbol subtly, placed it where the child would always see it, let it sink into memory, until recognition became instinct. A practitioner did not teach, "This herb brings clarity." They let the child pick it, dry it, smell it, grind it, until the plant's purpose lived in their hands rather than in words. This was not education. This was absorption. A way of learning modern minds have nearly forgotten. As the world changed, the craft developed an even more extraordinary skill. The ability to hide complexity inside simplicity. A gesture of the hand contained an entire ritual. A short phrase concealed a whole philosophy. Moment of silence held an emotional transformation. This is why outside observers mistook the craft for superstition. They only saw the outer shell, never the inner architecture. Imagine looking at a single stone from a collapsed temple. Without context, it seems meaningless. But when placed in its original structure, it becomes sacred geometry. This is how the old craft survives even today. Through fragments that appear harmless until you know how they fit together. But to understand the craft's evolution, we must confront a truth most historians avoid. Persecution did not weaken the craft. It purified it. When a tradition is hunted, only its most essential, adaptable, psychologically potent elements survive. Everything unnecessary is cut away. Everything fragile breaks. Everything weak decays. What remains is the core. And the core of this tradition was not ritual, not magic, not secrecy. Its core was perception, a way of seeing the world that no empire, no religion, no dogma could fully suppress. As we descend into this next layer, a pattern emerges. A pattern modern minds often overlook because they confuse visibility with existence. The practitioners understood that the human mind has multiple layers, and they built their knowledge to move through these layers like water through soil. The first layer, instinct, raw, immediate, uncontrollable. The second layer, emotion, shifting, powerful, easily distorted. The third layer, thought, analytical, deliberate, but often deceptive. The fourth layer, fifth, intuition, quiet, precise, ancient. The ability to understand meaning without explanation, to grasp truth without language, to recognize patterns without logic. This was the realm where the craft operated, where gestures were words, where symbols were equations. Where silence was instruction, where emotion was a compass. It was a psychology far ahead of its time. But as modern society advanced, it built walls around these inner layers. Walls of rationality, walls of noise, walls of disbelief, walls of fear dressed as skepticism. People forgot how to feel the subtle shifts in energy. They stopped noticing the intuitive patterns that guide survival. They abandoned the inner compass that had carried their ancestors through famine, war, and darkness. The old craft predicted this loss. It saw the coming disconnect, and it responded with its greatest adaptation, condensation. It compressed its vast, intricate system into symbols so small, so simple, so ordinary, that they could exist anywhere. A charm, a gesture, a two-line rhyme, a candle ritual repeated without context, a protective mark hidden inside a cultural tradition. These were not remnants. They were survival algorithms. As we reach the deepest layer of this part of the journey, one truth rises from the dark like a forgotten monument. The old craft did not survive because it was mystical. It survived because it understood the human psyche better than any philosophy of its time. Every time someone ties a thread for protection. Every time someone feels a warning in their gut. Every time someone follows a symbol without explanation. They are echoing a tradition they were never taught. Yet somehow remember. The craft lives not in books, but in the collective unconscious, not as a practice, but as a memory, not as a religion, but as an ancient technology of meaning. And with this, we step closer to the threshold, where the craft stops being hidden history and starts becoming something far more unsettling. A mirror. A mirror that reflects not what the world tried to forget, but what humanity is still afraid to remember.